This is the 217 Recovery Podcast with Corey Winfield and co-host Marney Winfield.
I seen somebody wearing their 217 Recovery Podcast t-shirt today. It was new, it was walking around, it was hovering above the ground, looking awesome. He was certainly happy to get that, I assume, because he was wearing it.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Definitely makes sense. Chris Goss, hope you're doing well, brother. And if you listen to the intro there, you hear stuff going on in the background, is we were doing shirts. That was
wow.
Yeah, that was
in action.
The cricket machine. Of course, vaping.
Makes it real.
Yeah, we didn't vape in the house, though.
Right.
Because those rules, we didn't break them.
Right.
Sometimes it pays to listen to the podcast. Just saying. My name is Corey Winfield. It is the 2nd of November, and the year is still 2021.
My name is Marney Winfield.
Hi, Marney.
Hi, Corey.
We got so much stuff to talk about today. I know the stuff that everybody's dying to know. Mm-hmm. Who scored the most points in fantasy football in the 217 Recovery Sober League? Just real quick, it was me. This last week, I scored the most points, and let's just move on.
Man.
Of course you wouldn't have brought that up unless it was you.
Yeah. Well, I thought I brought it up. Don't I bring that up every week? Or
No.
I don't have to go back and listen because I don't know. Yeah, my memory's bad. I'm getting old. Anywho, what's up? You want to talk about some stuff today?
Not a whole lot. Well, been working from home, and that's actually pretty functional. I've been able to, between texting, emails, I downloaded my Office software, which has made it amazing on my new computer. Thank you, Corey.
So proud of you.
I know. So everything's working smoothly and a lot more efficiently, and that makes me happy because you know how frustrating it can be when little crap makes things that should be easy a lot harder.
Yeah.
So that is it makes me happy. Like today's a good day because of that. And of course, I have my little study buddy with me, Nico, our cat.
Yeah.
So that makes me happy too. But one thing that kind of was brought up in a roundabout way today. Obviously, I work in the field of addiction. I work at a treatment center with recovery homes, so I have quite a few clients. And I was going to touch on planned relapses. So the idea that you're trying to get sober, wherever spot in your recovery journey that you're in, and when that happens, when that switches, and I can speak for myself, but just obviously too, like I said, I deal with a lot of people that are in addiction, and it's a hard journey, and everybody's not always in the same spot in terms of their, what do you want to call it? I don't want to say the importance of their sobriety, but the seriousness that they're taking with their program.
Mm-hmm. And for somebody who's just now, this is the first time they've ever listened to the podcast, we are both in recovery. I'm coming up on 3 years. You just had your 2 years at the end of August. Mm-hmm. So it was not an easy journey for either of us. We have done all this stuff. That's why we talk about it. So when you hear us talking about it, we're not saying people are bad or, they plan the relapse, that they're pieces of crap. We're not saying that. We're just saying we know from experience. And sometimes we see the signs on other people, and that's why we talk about it. So just wanted to kind of catch people up. This is your first podcast. I met a lady at Speedway today, and she saw my shirt, and she's like, "Where can I hear your podcast?" I was like, "Where do you listen to music?" She's like, "Apple." Mm-hmm. There you go, Apple Podcasts. Get us there, whatever. Amazon. I started rattling them off. She's like, "Okay, so I can find you anywhere." I was like, yeah, Pandora, even And then I forgot to tell her, I love Speedway because they support us and they support people in recovery, and I forgot to tell her that.
Was it the cashier that said that?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was in Pontiac.
Nice.
I was over there today.
Watch Pontiac just blow up with listeners now.
She
haven't looked
remembers.
at that in a long time.
No.
Where people listen.
But anyway.
Anywho.
So just resetting there for people. And
So like he was saying, we've been through this. I have been struggling with, addiction for decades. And, just now in the last 2 years have kind of really felt where I'm solid in my program. Still a day at a time for me. just like everybody else. But working with people in different stages of the recovery, you'll notice things that I recall about my behaviors and where I was at that moment. And it's scary because it's almost like you want to bring those to the person's attention. They might not even know. They might not even recognize, and maybe some of those signs that might be about where their head's at, and that's kind of, I started thinking about that too more, is that lots of times that's why people have sponsors. And if you don't want to sponsors, it's, somebody who's generally in a 12-step program that can help, guide you through essentially the 12 steps of the recovery program, but also, provide you insight and some guidance and things like that. And they can maybe recognize things like that as well. But that being said is, for me, I know for a fact, the big, huge number one thing for me was if you're ever on probation, that's probably the biggest, number one example I can give of this is that you can almost see people's, mouths watering or what have you at sometimes when it's almost like they can see a finish line of when they're not going to be accountable for their drinking or drugging.
Right.
And that's hard to see because there's nothing you can do about it. It's not about you. It's if it's not their time, it's not their time. You can bring it up and talk to them about it, and that's what you can try to do. But there's only so much you can, say without also, I've noticed, offending them.
Yeah. And we were the same way. My mom would say, "Oh, are you okay? Because you're doing this or you're doing that." And it used to irritate the hell out of me. And then that would really frustrate me. And not all the times I was thinking about relapsing, or had anything planned, but it just would irritate me. But she obviously saw something, just like, it's easy for us to spot too. And for us, it's easy to see because we know kind of what we had to give up and what we had to accept, and the sober life, the recovery life is actually such a great one that we embrace it now. We don't hide from it. We will step out and say, yeah, I'm in recovery. Life is great. I'm a different person than when I used to be when I drank. I'm so much better now. I'm productive. I love life. Like, this is so much better. But in that time, in those moments, we would slip as well. And we would plan, not together, obviously we didn't know each other, but we would. And this last time when I went to treatment, I was on probation. I 100% did not plan anything I'm going to go drink. Nope, never did. And when I was on probation for marijuana, when I was like 19, I smoked a joint on the way out of the parking lot of the courthouse, and that's the kind of mentality of F you, I'm going to do what I want. Yeah. If you get off probation, you want to go drink. If you think that's a great idea, go ahead, buddy. But after having a year or 2 years clean, when you take that first drink, you will know deep in your heart that this is not worth it. And it's not as good as your brain was telling you. And that'll make you mad. And then you won't be able to stop. And you'll go even harder than you did back then. And it won't be just a beer.
Right.
It won't be just you're going to go hardcore and you're going to be right back in it and you're going to kick yourself and you're going to have regrets. And then you're going to go back to the liquor store to drink those away. And then you're going to say stupid shit to people. And then it's just the cycle and it's over and over.
Yeah.
So it's easier just to stay clean than it is to get clean, which we've said many times, but somebody said that and I heard it. It was great.
Well, and the other piece of it too is, and I'm not trying to dwell only on the probation thing because that's not it, but you can relate it to even like smaller periods of time where you don't do your drink or drug during that time period. And then when that time comes that you're not being not allowed to have that drink or drug, then it's like, I deserved it. Like I earned that because that whole day at work, I didn't drink, that whole, it can be small. It can be like dinner with your parents. I used to have to do that. You know, if I could make it through dinner with my parents, I was so excited to be done with the time at my parents' house that I could go and have my drink. I was like counting the minutes, you know. So because we think that we think that we earned it that way, especially with people that are not, like I said, the probation thing, it's a long period of time. And what I realized after the fact in hindsight is that there was a time, and I've shared this on the podcast before, but there was a time in my probation, and I was in drug court, which was extremely long period of time, pretty intense. And there was a time where I believed in the words I was saying. Mm-hmm. I honestly did think I had put using behind me and that I knew that life could be better because I saw things changing in my life. I saw good things happening. I saw how healthy I could be. You know, I saw the relationships that I could have that were meaningful. And then it kind of, I don't know where it started fizzling away to where I was still on probation. I was still required to do these things where had me involved in the meetings and meeting with my probation officer and being checked in by the judge. And even though I hadn't picked up a drink or drug, the words that I wasn't in, like those weren't my words. Those weren't my feelings. I was reporting back how great I was doing, which was the truth. But the end of it all was that I don't need alcohol or drugs anymore. That part I didn't believe.
You want me to tell you what I personally think happens?
Are you going to say something smart? Oh, no.
Yes.
That's it.
I personally think there's a problem with the system. And I've never been on drug court, but when you're on drug court, you got to do this, you got to do that. You're doing time. Mm-hmm. That's what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you're not in jail, but you're doing time and you're doing what they say. And then as you get closer and you look at that calendar, November 21st, you circle that date, boom, it's in there. As that date gets closer, you start to feel a sense of, all right, I did my time. I learned my lesson. And I don't know if they tell you when you're in drug court that you can never drink again. You know, and here's the thing too, not everybody on drug court is a true alcoholic.
That's true. That's true.
You might be busted wrong place, wrong time. Boom. You're going to do this. Okay, I'm such a bad person. And then they make you feel like that. So at the end of it, well, damn, look at me. I did it. I served my sentence. Now I learned my lesson. I'm going to go out and drink like other people do. Mm-hmm. But that's the problem. If you're a person with a true substance use disorder, some call that alcoholic, with drinking, you can't. You can never go out and have a beer. And not if you want a good life. I mean, you can drink, do whatever you want, sure. But if you really want a good life, that's just not an option. We can't have a beer. We can't have just 2 beers. I can't go to the golf course, hit some balls, and have a 6-pack even. It's not enough for me. So I think that with the system, it just kind of like you naturally reward yourself. I'm done. Completed. Mm-hmm. You know, what do we do when we complete something? We feel good. You know, and damn it, like you said, I deserve this now. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that's the big problem that a lot of people miss. And I think a lot of judges and a lot of people, I'm just assuming, I don't know for a fact, I'm just throwing it out there. But I think some people believe that we can change and we can drink like normal people, doing air quotes there. Like I've had family members say, yeah, man, see, just have 2. See, you just had 2 beers tonight. See, you can do it.
They don't know what's going on in our head
or what's in my pocket.
Right.
You know, that fit or that half gallon or not half gallon. Jesus. It's a big pocket.
Big pocket.
You know, half pint. But like, yeah, you know, and I'm like, yep, I sure can, buddy. You know, no, the whole time I'm fiending. You know, I'm like, this is not good. You know, you're getting that. No, why I just can have 2 beers? Mm-hmm. That's doing nothing to me. I drink a half gallon, you know, like all the time. So no, 2 beers. What? Huh? No, I want more. And so that's something they didn't realize. But I'm just saying that if you know a family member, a friend who's like, hey, I'm getting off, you say, what's worth it? You know, like, is it worth it? I was talking to a lady today. I had to take the treatment. And I kind of chuckled. It's a weird name. I don't even know how to even pronounce it. But
try.
I'm telling you,
Okay.
it's pretty weird. But anyway, she was cool, and she said all the right things, and I'm like, all right, and
Talk about her tools and
she started talking about
coping.
gateway drugs and how, and it reminded me exactly of something that Chris Goss said at one time. I'm never going to say that I'm not going to get high again, because I probably will. Okay. I'll put money on it that you will, because that's how you're thinking. And she said, well, I'll definitely smoke pot. And I chuckled, and she said, oh, somebody, told me this. And my probation officer asked me if I thought it was a gateway drug. And she's like, I told him no. And I chuckled again. She's like, what, do you think it's a gateway drug? Absolutely. Everything's a gateway drug, and the fact that she started out as a, teenager smoking pot. Okay. And then you start drinking, or vice versa. But then you find something that you really like. And for us, you and I, Marnie, we latched onto alcohol. There was other stuff that we tried and did too. Sure. Yeah. Might as well. Especially when you start drinking. Sure. I'll do a couple lines, whatever, man. But for her, her drug of choice now is heroin. And so I was just kind of explaining, like, okay, well, you might think that pot's harmless, but it does alter your mind. And it's not what you want. Your body, it doesn't, weed's not strong enough anymore. You want that good stuff, and you'll start thinking about it, and you'll start obsessing about it. And next thing you know, I'll just do it just this once, and nobody knows. And then you shoot up and you have it in 4 months and you're dead. She's like, yeah, I had to be resuscitated, 5 times. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you're going to take that chance. If I said that you smoke pot, there's a big chance that you're going to go back to heroin, and yet you still smoke pot. And if I said that if you don't smoke pot, you're never going back to heroin. And that's not a guarantee at all either. I'm just saying, if somebody gave you that scenario, what would you choose? Well, clear common sense. You're sober today. You're going to say, well, I don't ever want to do heroin again, because I have a child and I need to be there for that child. But that's the problem with it. You start, I can just do this part. I can just drink. It's legal. Weed's legal now.
Oh yeah. I hear that a lot.
And man, if it's people that are smoking weed, like, here's the thing too. And I think I've probably talked about this, about getting pulled over. I was talking about this with somebody yesterday, and I don't remember who, but we were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, man, you get pulled over, you're screwed. Because especially if you have weed in the car, you automatically, the cop's going to say, well, I had suspicion that, he had smoked it, and he looked high to me. So you can get a ticket and get your license taken away. It's just the same as getting a drunk driving. So don't think you're safe. And if they smell it, and all these people, like, you walk into a grocery store and somebody just walks by you and you're like, Jesus Christ, you get pulled over, cop's smelling it, you're getting a ticket, and there's no breathalyzer for that.
Right.
It's just up to what the cop says. So you're really screwed. And they see weed, they're searching your car. They're going to do that. just if they found an open beer, that they're going to search your car. So you're opening yourself up to so much trouble. And that would be very worrisome to me if I was smoking weed, and again, I can't smoke weed. I tried it. I thought I'll just smoke weed. Nope. 2 days later, day later, I'm like, I'll just hit a bowl and then drink a half pint, even though I had made up my mind, I'm not ever drinking again. And I got high and I didn't like it. That's not what I wanted. I thought, well, I'll just mix the two, because I don't like mixing them, so I won't get that drunk. And then by day 3, I'm like, hey man, you want the rest of this weed? I'll trade you. Go buy me a 5th, and here you go. Done. Because it wasn't what I wanted. And Chris Goss said the same thing. We left treatment together. I rode the bus back to Michigan, made a pretty funny video on the bus. And he's like, man, I'm still smoking pot, bro. I'm going to smoke pot till I die. I'm like, why? What does it do for you? It doesn't make you invisible. It doesn't make you smarter. You don't have a better job because of it. Like, what positive thing does it do? Oh, it helps my back.
Yeah.
I have back problems. Didn't do shit for me.
I have anxiety.
And, okay, cool. Yeah, I had anxiety too. That's why I drank. And it did help my back when I drank. So I should be able to go out and drink then? No.
It didn't really help your back.
It helped me pass out.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. And for some people, sure, it works. But you don't have to get high. There's CBD oil and all that stuff. But anyway.
Yeah. If you're trying to find the magic solution to not, being able to if to be able to drink or drug, but not drink or drug, it's going to end up in a bad place. You're going to end up in a bad place. And it took, God knows, it took way too many times than I can count for me to realize that.
And, I drink or I smoke pot or I do drugs because I'm bored. Get some friends, go to a meeting. I mean, there's other options. And I like getting high because it just calms me down. Okay, meditate. There's so many other things that you can do, but you just think, I'm going to go back to pot because that's how your brain works too. You got to figure out what you're running from. I don't run from anything, man. I have no problems. I just smoke pot because it's fun. Okay, really think about that. And I'd be surprised if you couldn't come up with something that you were running from, whether it be work, relationships, kids, stress, money issue, like whatever. There's something there, that makes you want to escape.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, man. I'm not worried about work now, man.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, get to the bottom of it. And the woman I was transporting today, she's like, yeah, I really think I could help people. And I'm like, of course you can. You've been through a lot of things that people could probably relate to, and you can do anything you want as long as you're sober. And she's like, yeah, well, me and my friend, this other, we talked about opening a rehab and more of a new style with, meditation and yoga and stuff they do when they stick you with needles in your ear.
Acupuncture.
And then some other stuff. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Might as well. You can do anything you want, and I told her, I was like, okay, so which one do you want more? You want to smoke weed more, or do you want to help people have a purpose in life and be there for your daughter and open this rehab? Because you can't do both. And she just kind of was like, And then I think it finally kind of hit her like, okay, well, she does have to make a decision because the pot, you just can't be doing that. You can't, it's very hypocritical. Right. Oh, but it's California sober, man. Whatever. And again, you can't really worry about other people. I'm just saying this is something that I had to come to conclusions with, and maybe you can smoke pot for the rest of your life and that's it. Okay, cool. Nobody I know has done it. I'm sure there's probably somebody who has. Nobody I know has. Chris Goss, like I said, boom, went right back. A couple months later, it's like, bro, I need to go back to rehab. Okay, cool. And then the last time he got out, he went to the sober living house. Obviously, he was on the podcast with us. And he said to me, I don't know if I'll ever smoke pot again, but I know right now I'm not smoking pot. I'm staying sober. And he had probably his most productive period of his life that he's ever had. And so smokes pot again. So right down the. Yeah. But Chris is not a bad person.
Right.
Everybody makes bad choices. And unfortunately for people with substance use disorder, that one bad choice can cost us our life. It can take away a job, a career, everything that we set up for years, gone just like that. So it's just something that you have to be very careful of. And, I was talking to my friend Rob today, and we were talking about how sometimes we can get involved in other people's problems, and then that creates problems for us. And we're just trying to be the good guy. We're trying to help them out. And Rob said, no good deed goes unpunished. And I kind of laughed, and he was telling me about his situation. And I kind of told him about a situation where it's like, I got involved in something I didn't need to get involved in. And now I'm getting lied to. I'm getting like just, and then that makes me mad, because when people lie to me, it makes me mad. I'm like, do you think I'm stupid? And here I am now involved in somebody else's crap that I have nothing to do with. Why am I even messing with it? Dude's lying, but like, why do I care, man? It's like, why am I spending so much time? And I just started by trying to help a dude. Yeah. And here I am now having resentments because I'm getting lied to. And nobody likes to get lied to. And then it makes me mad. And then I got to break that down. Like, okay, why am I mad? I feel disrespected. I feel lied to. Like, and here I am. Like, I just tried to do something good.
Yeah. And I think it's important to recognize that that's true of a lot of people in any sort of kind of like therapeutic counseling kind of profession. Even if, and I say profession as it's your job, like you actually get paid to do it. But then again, also with sponsors, mentors, recovery coaches, it's crazy when you think about it, because the reason why recovery coaches are and sponsors and, addiction mentors. I don't know. There's all kinds of different names for it. Peer support, whatever. Mm-hmm. The reason why we're good at what we do, if you're good at what you do, is because we can relate to what those people are feeling, what those people are going through. And that can be dangerous because we need to recognize when their story or their challenges can sometimes bring us to a place where, we're starting to transpose our own feelings and situation on things that we've been through. And now we're absorbing this, these feelings of stuff that that are not even our own. And we're like, why can't you, and then it becomes like, we want them to get through it and work through it and what have you, because we know how bad it hurts. So, it's kind of a catch-22 sort of in a way sometimes.
I know. And I told Rob that it gets to a point where I don't want to waste my time, and our friend Jamie, and Jamie's got 8 months clean now. And Jamie thought I was being really mean to him. I don't know, maybe I was, but the actions weren't backing up the words. He was saying, I want to be sober. I want to do this. I don't want to go to treatment though. I just want to detox, and I told Jamie at that time, well, I'm not going to do that's a waste of my time. I'm going to pick you up, drive you 2 hours to detox. And then I'm gonna have to take your ass home in about 4 or 5 days, 2 hours back, 2 hours, so that's 4 hours, 8 hours. I don't want to waste 8 hours because as soon as I drop you off, within an hour, I will put money that you're going to be drinking again. Why don't you want to go to treatment? And well, because I don't need it. But what?
Because I need to feel better again so I can go start drinking.
And that's pretty
exactly
much all it is.
what unfortunately and sadly, that's what a lot of people do. And that's what they use detox centers for.
Yeah.
We've gotten to the point where they feel so sick and ill that they cannot even drink or drug, or the money's run out, or it's cold outside, or they got kicked out of their parents' house, or husbands, wives, roommates, whatever, and they need some place to go to not feel like complete crap. But they're not done yet.
Right. And not everybody has to go to treatment. There's therapy, there's outpatient services. You can do those things because a lot of people, I had to work. And okay, that's true. A lot of people do have to work. But what are you doing about the problem? What are you doing about the situation? Oh, I'm not drinking. I said that. Told that therapist in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Man, I've changed everything, bro. I don't drink when I do laundry. I don't drink when I watch TV. I don't drink when I wake up. I don't drink when I do this. He just looked at me and told me to get out. I'm not ready. I was so pissed off. I was like, what? He's like, I'm not even in charge of you this session. Just get out. You're not even ready. And waste my time, And I was like, what? Get back in the car and I'll tell my mom, I was like, man, that guy's an asshole. Like, he told me I didn't change anything. I told him I changed everything. Mom, I quit drinking. I want to watch football. I quit drinking. My mom was just like, whatever, man. Like, maybe you should probably listen to some of these people sometimes. I don't listen to them. No, they listen to me. I'm not like everybody else. I'm not a drunk like that. No, I just got out of the hospital because my liver shut down.
Right.
I'm not as bad as those other people. I don't need AA meetings. No. So stupid how the brain will just trick you, man. And it'll want to hold on to it so bad. And when you can accept that, you just can't do it anymore. And I don't know what it takes. You kind of said that earlier, like, you don't know what it was or whatever, but it just kind of comes to a point where I became cool with, I'm never drinking again. I can't. And I can never smoke pot again. I can never just do a bump, like I just can't. And you become cool with it, and then you feel good, and your life gets on track, and you don't blow it all up or set it on fire like you have done a million times in the past. And you start making progress. You start getting through the hard times. A lot of people hit the wall. I got on Zoloft, very, very small amount, just because I was on Zoloft and I had my longest stretch. So I thought, okay, let me go back to that very small amount, and let me do some of the things that I did when I had the most amount of recovery. And I didn't hit the wall. Not this last time I didn't. But I've been through the wall. Oh my God, it's horrible. Nothing seems to be changing. Nothing's happened fast enough. How come this isn't happening in my life? How come? Because it doesn't just fall from the sky. If I could go back and ask myself, well, Corey, what are you doing for it? Like that's my favorite thing to ask people. Oh man, I'm going to my meetings, man. Oh, how many are you supposed to go to? 5. Oh, how many are you doing? 5. Oh, Okay, well, what else? I see my therapist once a month. Oh. Okay, well, you just told me you were killing it. What else are you doing, man? You're just sober as hell right now. I go to work. All right, man, but like, what else are you doing? You know, like, are you writing a book? You doing a podcast? You helping old ladies cross the street? You donating your time to the Salvation Army? Are you helping people pick up at meetings? Are you really helping, or are you just saying that? You know, like, what are you really doing, you know, to help other people? Because when you help other people, you feel good. You get dopamine. Like, it makes you feel good. And then you complete things. Boom. That makes you feel good. What are you doing? If you're just telling me you're doing the basic bare minimum, and then you're going to act like you're killing it, and you're running around trying to judge other people, well, that person's not doing it. Don't worry about that person. It has nothing to do with you. And that was a very hard lesson for me to learn in sober living. I came in there and I was so pissed. I'd see taco shells out, I'd throw it outside. See somebody's phone, I'd throw it outside. And I got so mad and started holding resentments to those guys. And then finally one day, I don't know if somebody said something to me or if it just clicked that that's not my job. My job's to get up, make my bed, go to 5 meetings, and we always went to more, and pay rent and do my chore. That's all I didn't. Somebody leaves there, not my problem. That's the house manager's problem. He has to address that, not me. You know, and you learn to kind of look the other way. And even though it'll bug me, nothing I can do about it, man. I didn't put it there. You know, I just need to keep my side of the road clean. There you go. You know, but a lot of people will get caught up, especially in sober living situations of, oh, that person left their dress out. I don't care, man. You know, is it on my bed? And that's the manager of a sober living house. You left your stuff out. I will put it on your bed. I don't care if there was ice cream still in the bowl, and I just bloop. I don't care if you were asleep. Bloop. Yeah. Again, I was learning, and I learned a lot being the manager of the sober living house is that, you know, these people need help. And these people need guidance. You know, putting moldy bread on someone's bed. I don't know. He left it out, you know, so much that it's people walk in and there's moldy bread sitting right there. And I left a note, hey, please take care of your bread. And you didn't. Oh, yeah. What's going on in your bed? Oh, I can't believe you put that's disgusting. Yeah. And we walk past it. Everybody does. Visitors, everybody. Anyway, I don't know. Whatever. I'm not doing house manager stuff anymore, so I don't know. But you do learn that different people are at different levels. And I kind of learned, well, how can I help these people out? You know, sometimes it was with food. Sometimes it was with rides and talks, you know, on the way to meetings. And you just kind of like, you fill them out and you realize, okay, what do you need, man? What do you need to stay sober? You know, I try to be a role model. You know, the other manager of the house was not a very good one, as we found out later. But again, I can't do anything about that either. And everything happens for a reason. And I'm excited and thrilled that they happened the way they did, even though a couple of my friends, I call them friends, it didn't work out so hot for them once I left. But at the same time, that happened for a reason. They don't know why right now, but they'll look back at it and go, wow. Like Tyrone in his situation, you know, I respect the hell out of Tyrone. He's been through a lot. And now he's coming to the end of that chapter, and he can look back and he can realize how strong of a person he really is. You know, I don't think Tyrone doubts himself, but there comes a time when we have been through so much hell and we've seen so much and we've been humiliated so many times. And then to put ourselves in a situation which he was in where he could have went out and used anything, and he didn't. And he just kept on. He kept focused, and he kept just a little bit better today than yesterday. And finally he ended up in a good spot, and he's loving it right now. So you might think it's the worst time ever in your life when you're in jail and you're sitting there. And I'm sure that there was a time where you're just like, oh my God, this is the worst moment of my life. And you look back and you're like, wow, like maybe that wasn't, you know, maybe I had to go through all that hard stuff so I can appreciate the good stuff on this side of it, you know? And
yeah, that's always part of, you know, your story. Anything that I went through, sounds weird, but I'm grateful for it, you know? And I'm not grateful that particular thing happened, but I'm grateful for what that particular thing taught me. And that's the only reason that I got to where, I am now. And I find when I say things like that, I sound very sure of myself. Like I'm holding up a trophy, like I just like won something, like I'm there, like everybody look at me. And that's, that's not how living in recovery works. Because living in recovery is an everyday thing. You have to renew your commitment to your sobriety every single day. Every day. And yeah, there's that, but I have to earn that bleeping trophy every day. It's not like it's mine to keep forever because I only have it on days that I stay clean. And trust me, I will do the work because life is so much better.
How can you set yourself up, for a good chance, a better shot at being sober that day? And that's why, when we started the podcast, we did it at night because I had to make it through the whole day sober to do the podcast. And I realized that in radio, like I wouldn't drink on the air. I did in my early career and I heard a commercial and it was horrible. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed. And I told myself, I'm never drinking on the air again. I didn't. And so that's something that the only thing that I held above drinking, family, friends, relationship, didn't matter. Didn't matter. Alcohol won every time. But I guess maybe it took that embarrassment of hearing that commercial. That really changed. Okay, well, I'm not going to drink. Nobody's going to ever hear me on air broadcasting drunk again.
And it's funny because that might have been the reason that got you there because you realized I'm going to make it that's important to me. But now we don't have to prioritize. Like now it's not one thing. It's not one particular thing or place or thing that we have or even thing that we want. It's just, I know today I'm not going to pick up a drink or drug. I don't need to have a reason why, except for the fact that the pure number one fact that I know that I'm not able to drink or drug because it will lead to disaster. And I don't need it anymore.
And for us, we can see the other side. And like you said, the trophy thing, whatever, but like we can see this other side and it's so much better. It's like, hey, do I want all 10 of my fingers or do I want to cut one off? Well, why would I cut one off? That's kind of like, hey, you want to go have a drink? No, I don't live that way anymore, man. Why would I want to do that? And that's really our mentality both. And, I don't want to speak for you, but I'm pretty sure I know that that's kind of your mentality too. It's like, whoa, why would I want to be miserable again? Like, I don't care and hopefully, knock on wood, and we won't know until, bad things happen or until we face those situations. But, I believe in God and I believe that everything has happened for a reason. And hopefully I'm strong enough when bad things happen that I don't think, oh, I'm going to get drunk because, I know it's not going to make me feel better. It's not going to change anything. It's going to make things so much worse. Why? Just so I can escape pain, or loss or whatever. That's not going to make it better. It's just going to make things worse. And sometimes you have to deal with pain. Sometimes you have to deal with loss. Sometimes you hurt. Sometimes you cry. That's life. Those are the feelings that you have to feel.
Yeah.
And until you feel them, until you actually deal with them, they're going to still be there. And then all this drinking's, all that stuff's still there, man. And you still got to go back and unpack it and deal with those situations at one point. So unless you just want to die, I mean, whatever, it's kind of a waste, but
yeah, you have to be very humble when you're dealing with starting your recovery.
And selfish.
You
do. And
because if you get boastful, you get, all worked up about the greatness of you. They call it the pink cloud. Next thing you know, you relapse, and then all that trophy is something that beats you over your head with it, because it's just like crash and burn. And that's why not because I think it's just happens this way and maybe not everybody, but we don't talk. I mean, we talked about recovery every day for the most part, just because that's our world. But people who live in recovery don't necessarily always bring that up as a topic of anything in the course of a day. Like, they don't have to say, nah, I don't drink, or yeah, I'm sober, or even use the word sober or sobriety in the course of a day. Making themselves known, and I'm talking about consciously and out loud. It's just another day. It's another day of beautiful world of living clean, living in recovery. Mm-hmm. We don't need to celebrate it. We are celebrating it by just living it.
Now, some people would rather not have anybody acknowledge it, and that's their thing. For me, I felt so much better when I started the podcast. I mean, I was trying to hide that I had a problem. I wasn't hiding anything, but then when it just started the podcast, yep, this is me. This is what I did. This is who I am today. It's more about moving forward. And if people want to judge me for my past, all right, cool. I don't live there anymore. Good luck. I moved on. And just having that different kind of mentality and that moving forward thing. And, a lot of people go to AAA and that works for them. That's awesome. They work the steps. Good for them. Whatever works for you, really. And there's so many different ways and so many different things you can do. But for me, working the steps just brought me back. It took me back. Well, yeah, but you got to remember that stuff. Write it down. That doesn't work for me. I want to move forward. That's not who I am today. And the only way I can really tell those people, sorry, is by picking myself up today and doing good stuff and helping other people. Mm-hmm. I don't have to go tell them that I'm sorry. They know.
Right.
And they want to see me do good. I never stole really from anybody. I've heard people, I did this and did. Okay, cool. Like that person does. You telling them sorry, they probably won't answer the phone even. Like all you're doing is you're bringing up those more emotions, and then you're gonna be like, oh, you don't forgive me, they hate me, and like, that's how it was for me. And like I said, I just like to move forward.
Exactly. That's what we do.
Mm-hmm. It's all I can do. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of things I want to change, and then that gets me frustrated a lot, and that's why I have a therapist. She helps me with that stuff like big time, and it's not an easy process. It takes a minute, and I don't like to use the word work because obviously it wants to work, but it's a lot of self cleanup, a lot of self repair. And it feels good and it's worth it. And nothing's going to happen in a day, but you work a little bit on something today, and I'll tell you where you're going to be at in 365 days. It's going to be a completely different place. Mm-hmm. And that's if you have the problem. But if it's a family member, cousin, uncle, I guess those are family members. But what I'm saying? Friends, if it's somebody that you're listening and you're like, man, how can I help these people? I don't know. And everybody's different. I don't know. Like, just be there for them. Don't judge them. We're not bad people. We make bad decisions. And like I said earlier, it just takes one bad decision for people like us, and we're off to the races, and we can't stop it. And a lot of people who drink have heard that what I'm about to say is Jekyll and Hyde, man. You're sober, love you. Drunk, hate your guts, don't want to be around you. You're like Jekyll and Hyde, man. And I've heard that so many times myself, and I've heard other people say, yeah, man, that people say I'm like Jekyll and Hyde. I'm like, yeah.
That's probably true.
Something about this, and that's not really who we are when we're drunk.
Right.
Like, yeah, we say things and things are stupid, and because you're drunk, does that excuse it? No, but kind of, like that's not really who those people are. That's not really who I was when I was drunk all those times. That's not who I was. That's not who I am in my soul. And they're not bad people, is what I'm trying to say. And not all of them are good either. I'm just going to put it out there like that too. Just because you're in recovery doesn't make you a good person, but I'm sure it makes a lot of people better. But it's just like, what are you doing for yourself, and what can you do to move on? What can you do to help others? And be selfish with it. If your old friends are coming around, cut them out, man. And the guy I was talking to earlier, I mentioned Rob, I had to kind of take a break from him, cut him out, because I was very early in my recovery. He relapsed, and it just kind of messed me up. And I was like, you know what? I can't talk to Rob. Like there's nothing there for me right now. And if he dies, overdoses, I don't know how I'll handle that. So let me just focus over here, do me, stay on track. You know, I'm the only one that can get me where I need to go. And here are some goals I have.
Right.
You know, and let's start this company. Let's do this podcast. And people were hating, and people, who these guys think they are? Start a podcast. What do they know about recovery? Dude, it's 3 months clean. Yeah, later, bro. Hey, can I be on your podcast? No. You know, and oh man, you got a nice website. Yeah, I know. You know, like they just thought I was playing, and who cares? Like, whatever your dreams are, don't let other people diminish them. Don't let them tell you can't do something. You're the only person that can decide if you're not going to do it or not. You know, it doesn't matter. If you're a felon, doesn't matter. There's ways to do things. It's just you got to take the time to figure it out. And it might not come as easy. Tyrone will tell you that. You know, he had to stay at a place for a long time that he couldn't do nothing about. But at the end of the day, he kept doing the things he needed to do, and bam. And here he is. You know, and he's going to have a nice holiday with his own place. And I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
But just hang in there, support the people in your life if they have a problem, and if they want to talk about it, cool, but just let them know that you're there. And if they need help, when they need help, you know, that you can probably get them to the place or help them get to a place, or call me, whatever. That's what a lot of people do. And, you know, we'll figure it out and get them on the right track, hopefully. But again, it's a process, takes time. It's different for everybody. Our friend Justin, he went to treatment once. Sucker. You know, I went a lot. You went a couple times, few times.
I'm in a couple a lot.
Yeah. And it just takes what it takes, you know, and just don't give up. But don't enable them either.
Right.
And if they're lying to you, just whatever. Don't argue with drunk people.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, if you're sober and you're just, don't. It's a waste of time. Move on. But that's my advice.
You want to get better, and you want to get clean and sober. You can't look to one particular person to save you. You can reach out to ask people to help you, but you need to be in it. You need to be in it. Otherwise, it's not going to work. You can have all the support in the world, and maybe in that eventually, hopefully, maybe could get you to a place, but you got to turn it over and just surrender the fact that if you want to get better, you need to be okay with the fact that drinking and drugs is just not going to happen.
And if somebody's in a relationship and like, oh man, we've used for 10 years together and blah 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 blah, and now I'm going to get sober and so are they, and this and that.
You can do a whole podcast on that.
You got to do it for yourself. Like, you just got to cut that person out. Again, it's selfish. Yeah, but we have kids together. We're this. Okay, so you're going to need at least one parent alive, right? Let's let that be you. You know, like, make a choice, because that person's making a choice and you can't change other people. There's nothing you can do. You know, they have their own brain and their own demons, and, you know, if they're not dealing with it correctly in the right way, and it's a disaster, and you're going to go right down with them.
Yeah.
You know, so be selfish with it, and it's your life. Yeah, but I love that person to death. Well, you're about to. You know, like, the only way you can help them is to lead by example, I guess. And, you know, if they don't want a good life, then fine. That's what they chose. Move on. There's other people out there. A lot better people out there, probably, but I'm just saying. I mean, you found me.
Right? There you go.
That was funny,
Wait.
though.
That's not funny. It's true.
Oh. Yeah. Anyway.
They're still laughing.
I know. All right, good. Anyway, I'm done.
All right.
I got nothing. I got a lot more, but I gotta go.
Yeah.
Can't get out of here. Thanks for listening, though, and hopefully the lady at Speedway, and actually it's Waterford Township, but it's right next to Pontiac. Hopefully she enjoyed the podcast.
Yeah. Hi, nice lady at Speedway.
I'm not sure she kind of expected it, but
there you go.
yeah, Speedway, Target, big props to them. Sam's Club, appreciate the support. Meyer, Breaking Alignment Plus, Bell Tire a little bit, and who am I forgetting?
Target.
I said Target.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm. Oh, should I go ahead and list the people that don't support recovery?
No, we're done.
Kellogg.
Don't do that.
Oh, wait,
That's not. We're supposed to be positive.
Costco.
Stay positive.
I am positive.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Have a good night.
And don't eat Tony the Tiger cereal ever again. See ya.
Thanks for listening to the 217 Recovery Podcast. Win a bunch of free shit from 217 Recovery. Go to the app or the website, 217recovery.com.